More Perfect Union is a progressive media organization turned left-wing conspiracy group, taking legitimate stories and packaging them in a propagandist wrapper, often with anti-Semitic overtones. Highlights from their YouTube channel include videos that appear to be about how BlackRock is the new Bolshevism, Elon Musk is part of the new deep state, as opposed to the old one, I guess. This is not a vague and baseless accusation that I'm making simply because More Perfect Union stands for important progressive causes that I fully support. This is an explicitly harmful theme of their recent content. They need to pull the plug immediately before it does any further damage. Though More Perfect Union's quest to hold corporations accountable is noble, these thumbnails and titles are toxic. I'm Robert Tolby, and let's talk about how More Perfect Union has completely lost the plot. More Perfect Union is a non-profit organization founded with the goal of unifying working-class Americans. Their mission, according to them, is to speak to these Americans and their struggles, while holding the rich and powerful accountable for their wrongdoing. On its face, this is great. Their investigative journalism is hard-hitting, and they communicate their values effectively using populist language and visuals. Regrettably, the populist language More Perfect Union uses is that of conspiracy. They weren't always like this, though. Before I continue, this is my old office chair. Horrific, I know. I'm so glad FlexiSpot sponsored this video. They sent me their C7 MAX ergonomic office chair, and I could not be happier. I live in my home office, writing emails, drafting scripts, and editing, and being in a sturdy chair that actually reclines is amazing. My old one didn't even do that. It's incredibly comfortable. The 3D adjustable headrest can be perfectly positioned to support your head. You can also adjust the height of the backrest to place that nice lumbar support right in the curve of your spine, with targeted support on the sacrum, making it uber ergonomic. Moreover, the C7 MAX has a 0.2-inch latex seat cushion with memory foam, much more luxurious than other ergonomic office chairs with a seat cushion made of regular foam. Not to mention the 5D armrest can articulate to support your arms while you type or game. There's so many dimensions to this chair. There's even a lever you can pull to shift the entire base by nearly 2 inches. These easily accessible features make it easy to adjust the chair so you or others can sit pretty much however you'd like. This chair is awesome. There's a 30-day return policy for risk-free trial and a 10-year warranty with direct replacement for any damaged parts. Purchase it at the link below and use my code in the description for the best price. Depending on your budget, FlexiSpot also has plenty of options for office chairs on their website, including the formidable C5, a nice ergonomic chair with basic functions and adjustable features. The C7 MAX is the perfect choice if you're looking for long-term comfort, even sitting over 12 hours a day. Its sturdy build quality and adjustable ergonomic features support your body so you can feel relaxed and pampered while you work. So go check it out. Thank you, FlexiSpot. Back to the topic of More Perfect Union. They were founded in 2021 by Senator Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign manager. They quickly garnered notability as a grassroots investigative journalism organization. An Axios story from March of that year painted them as an initiative to push the Biden administration to the left. At that time, the organization had secured funding and already had a team of 12 people covering stories on a range of social issues, most notably labor organizing. They made a name for themselves early on, covering the working conditions at Amazon's warehouses and the Frito-Lay strike. Their journalism focused on specific people and organizations, calling out companies such as UPS and Amazon, and powerful individuals such as former Senator Ron Johnson and the CEO of Kellogg's. After years of only moderate success, they seem to have realized the downside of focusing on specific topics, which is that specific topics resonate with specific groups of people, and they decided to switch things up. More Perfect Union pivoted away from specificity, preferring to use the pronoun they to refer to the villains in their narrative, and not calling out a single company or CEO. Though the stories they ran involved specific bad actors and companies, the thumbnail leaves the perpetrators of wrongdoing up to the viewer's imagination. More Perfect Union figured out their signature formula for views and engagement around a year ago, whereby they use a collage of faces or logos of recognizable figures and companies, refer to these entities as they, and then imply that they're colluding, or dare I say conspiring, to harm us, the common folk. I'd pinpoint the genesis of this formula to when they released a successful video titled "The Lie That Made Food Conglomerates Rich," and is slowly poisoning us. It shows a bunch of processed foods in the thumbnail next to the presenter and bold text that claims that they're poisoning us. The red flags here are so glaring that if you printed out the thumbnail and title on a standard-sized sheet of paper and walked outside, astronauts on the ISS could identify them from space. This claim that ultra-processed foods are poison is borderline health misinformation, as if RFK shouting this statement from the rooftops didn't make this abundantly clear. The video is extremely misleading. I could pick it apart for hours, but my favorite bit is where the journalist they're interviewing described what it was like tasting cornflakes with no salt added. He was horrified by their metallic taste and concluded that the salt was added to mask the signature profile of a manufactured food product.
Metal, I taste metal, M-E-T-A-L. And I was kind of thinking the same thing, which was one of my fillings had come out and was sloshing around. Beautiful things about salt for us is that it will mask, cover up, some of the off notes, bad taste, that are inherent to kind of the manufacturing process.
More Perfect Union includes the clip as if to imply that Kellogg's makes dangerous cornflakes and covers up their poisonous metallic taste by adding irresistible ingredients including salt, sugar, and fat, so we'll become addicted to them. If you don't know anything about how breakfast cereals are made, you'd readily believe their narrative and, whether out of ignorance or malice, More Perfect Union has no intention to disabuse viewers of this notion. The explanation for the metallic-tasting cornflakes is far less sinister than one would imagine. If you're familiar with the process of how breakfast cereals are fortified, you'll know that cereal companies put powderized vitamins and minerals in their breakfast cereals. Essentially, the cornflakes tasted like metal because they add powdered metal to cornflakes. This is far from a closely guarded secret. In fact, if you have some fortified cereal, a magnet, and a plastic bag lying around, you can crush it up and extract the iron by holding the magnet to the bag. In this instance, Kellogg's is not trying to kill us with poison. Rather, the company is trying to add some nutritional value to a food that is otherwise devoid of it, so that people who eat it for breakfast every morning don't suffer from malnutrition. A nuanced story about why foods in the American diet are nutritionally incomplete without laboratory intervention would make for a good watch. A More Perfect Union these days seems to be more interested in making works of propaganda as opposed to mission-driven journalism. This conspiratorial video garnered More Perfect Union over 3 million views, and in the wake of its success, the floodgates of conspiratorial imagery in their titles and thumbnails opened. While it's acceptable to get people to click on your reporting by incorporating some element of mystery or shadowy bad actor in your thumbnail, More Perfect Union has gone off the deep end. They began using overtly anti-Semitic imagery and phrases, and they haven't stopped. Mostly because this works. Their most successful video to date has a thumbnail of a spidery figure labeled BlackRock, planting its feet on the buildings of many influential corporations. My eyes widened when I saw this image, because knowingly or not, this is pulled directly from German earlier half of the 20th century propaganda. This is a well-known depiction of international Jewish conspiracy in posters from that era. Using a spider to depict a shadowy group of investors implied to control every major company is irresponsible beyond words. Either the team running the YouTube page are unaware of the historical connotations here, or they're well aware and using this imagery to their advantage. And I don't know which is worse. To be honest, I thought they had reached peak conspiracy until this video showed up on my homepage. The thumbnail depicts Elon Musk and other powerful people seated around a holographic projection of Earth. But the world domination imagery in the thumbnail isn't the video's most striking aspect. It's the title, which claims that the company Palantir is, quote, the new deep state, that shows just how careless More Perfect Union is. Not only are they explicitly claiming in their title that Palantir is some kind of shadow government, but they're also giving credence to the false right-wing deep state conspiracy. Logically, if Palantir is the new deep state, then there was a deep state to begin with, wasn't there? I don't think I have to explain just how unhinged it is that they're uploading videos with this kind of packaging, especially when the video doesn't mention the deep state at all. It instead paints a less conspiratorial picture of how an unethical defense contractor is rapidly expanding into other areas of the government. Evidently, More Perfect Union thinks harmful anti-Semitic conspiracies are good clickbait. Though the toxic imagery, titles, and rhetoric they use are aimed at billionaires, this kind of messaging will always ricochet and harm marginalized communities. I wonder if they recognize how quickly this can backfire and harm their reputation. Moreover, the language of conspiracy can be weaponized against them. Millions of dollars flow into the nonprofit organization each year from goodness knows where. That's not made public. Who knows who's really calling the shots and what their true motives are? Framing More Perfect Union in this way is disingenuous, though. I don't think I need to shroud the subject of this video in conspiracy to make it compelling. Ultimately, the More Perfect Union's strategy of blaming unseen actors for the real harm people face doesn't work. Them pointing fingers at a cabal of unidentified puppeteers controlling the powerful people who are truly responsible for the damage being done to our democracy will not instill class consciousness in their viewers. If this continues, the organization's legacy will be that of radicalization, as they slowly warp their viewers' perceptions of reality. I hope the team recognizes this and quickly changes their strategy. Anyways, I'm Robert Tolby, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I hope you have a good week. Bye-bye!